Welcome to the tour of a stunning new virtual instrument, the Galaxy X. Galaxy X is a convolution synthesizer creating exceptional sounds by using an extraordinary kind of sound design, effects convolution. Effects convolution basically refers to a very special interaction between two sounds, creating an astounding new one. This convolution process, which develops one-of-a-kind sounds, is quite complicated, but Galaxy X makes it easy and intuitive to handle. That is because Galaxy X for the first time unites all of the elements of effects convolution in one integrated system with one virtual instrument with a very intuitive user interface. In this introduction, we'll have a look at the user interface and explain the way Galaxy X works. A complete sound in Galaxy X is created by the teamwork of different modules. The final result, including all basic samples and all effects, is called a layer. And X comes with more than 1,000 ready-to-play layer instruments. The layers can be loaded in the layer list on the left of the engine player. Create or choose a layer in the list and open its drop-down menu. X delivers 3 libraries in one, so you can choose from 3 categories: X Effects, featuring all kinds of effects sounds; X Keys, for hundreds of tonally playable instruments; and X Loops, with thousands of special effects loops. After loading a layer, its user interface shows up in the so-called Quick Edit page of the engine player. If you have several X layers loaded, you can swap between them by clicking on one in the layer list, also opening the corresponding user interface. Let's have a look at the user interface. The user interface is divided into 4 sections centered around the XI, and their chronological order also describes a sound's way through X. It begins with the sources, followed by the PreX Engine, the X Engine itself, and finally the PostEx Engine. It all starts in the top triangle, the source module, delivering thousands of basic sample sets. Depending on the layer category, these are effects, tonal instruments, or loops. The source sound can be a combination of up to 3 of these basic sounds at a time. Now remember, convolution basically describes an interaction between 2 sounds, creating a third one. The source sound is the first of these 2. But before the source meets the second sound file for the convolution process, it has to be prepared for this event, which happens in the next module, the PreX Engine. The PreX Engine features the effects Dirt, percussion distortion, Sequence and Groove, for creating arpeggios and grooves, Contour, for shaping the envelope, and Repeat, which is a filter delay. Thereafter, the already processed source sound meets its counterpart in the convolution module of X, the X Engine. Usually, the convolution sound files are called impulse responses, referring to the way they are created. But as these convolution files in X are much more diverse, we choose to call them X files. You will find over 1,400 of them in the drop-down menu of the X Engine. The interaction between these X files and the source sounds is the heart of X. Let's have a look at the controls of the X Engine. Probably the most important one, after choosing the X file, is the X factor, which determines the strength of the effect convolution. As the X factor is always connected to the modulation wheel of your keyboard, you always have dynamic control over the amount of convolution, which at the same time is visualized by the XI in the center. Additional knobs control the X file's length, pitch, and level. It is also possible to sync an X file to the host tempo for loop effects, and to create countless reverse effects by reversing the X file. After leaving the X Engine, the already X'd sound enters the last stage, the PostEx Engine. The PostEx Engine features a couple of effects designed to finalize the sound. Rotate, for stereo effects, EQ and filter, Space, a convolution reverb, automation presets for saving user MIDI automation setups, and finally, controls for dynamic range and the output level. As you see, X delivers everything that is necessary for creating astounding sounds with effects convolution. 15 gigabytes of source content, 1,400 Convolution X files, plus preparing and finalizing effects. This integrated system delivers the possibility for over 1,000 ready-to-play instrument layers and a user interface which makes it a snap to completely transform them or to create new sounds from scratch. Thank you for watching.